talking about how important is to have an AI strategy and how important is it to share it with the stakeholders. I think it's very, very important to have a very sound AI strategy in this day and age, and actually equally or more important to share it. If I reflect on our journey, if you recall about 3 to 4 years back, we as a firm made a big announcement to invest, I think it was roughly $3 billion on AI, Gen AI, and it was well communicated and to the market. But that strategy and communication included focus on talent management. And when I say talent management, focus on the hiring managers, the recruiters, and even the candidates. So everybody's aware of our strategy and what we see the impact of that strategy or the future of how that strategy would impact different job roles and so forth. So again, we think it's very important to A, have it, and B, to share it. And that focus for us on talent management included generating awareness, training them, and getting the workforce and the future workforce ready for the future that we envision, that is AI-centric, if you will. A good example from a manufacturing perspective, our research for the future of manufacturing or 2040 shows that in future, we will not work in manufacturing, we will work for manufacturing. So what I mean by that is the job roles of the future would be different. And that's the awareness we want us as well as the future candidates to be aware of and get them ready. As an example, we see the future job roles of manufacturing, for example, AR enabled or AR maintenance engineer. And what that means is we won't just have a maintenance engineer. That job role will require awareness and skills with augmented reality so that they are able to maintain the equipment remotely and be able to work with those tools. Similarly, there would be a job role of a robotics production engineer. It won't just be a production engineer. It would be that job role would require skill of robotics as we move to both kind of digital and physical AI and almost automated or fully automated factory. So this impact of AI on job role is part of our strategy, and we think all of us need to have a strategy and effectively communicate so that we can get the talent ready for the future scenarios of whether it's semi-automated or fully automated manufacturing. As we enter the digital age, we have been diversifying and looking for talent to enable the broader digital transformation. I think the advent or the focus on AI is only going to accelerate that diversification. The reason we say that is because in this new world and the job roles I described, the skills that are required are changing. And as a result, there is an immense opportunity to tap the diverse pool and have that diversity of mix of skills required for the future. One element of it I would add is in this world, there is an equal focus on skills as well as a degree or a qualification. So while in the past, or I've almost feels like a distant past, where it was primarily based on a degree or a qualification, or that kind of the job role was mandating. Over the last few years, we have seen that there is an equal focus on skills. So that mix of skills as well as educational qualification is where we think the world is today. And I think that mix will also be an important criteria to have that skills in your, as part of your qualification. So anyway, I think the diversification is there, but we are also opening up to a skill-based recruitment rather than just an educational qualification. If I reflect upon our process as well as some of our clients, I think there is a focus on leveraging AI tools, especially generative AI tools, whether it is part of kind of resume selection and processing, or even I would say eventually onboarding of the candidate, if you will. But one element that is common that we employ is focus on responsible AI. And what I mean by that, we see these tools as accelerators of, it provides operating efficiencies, right? But there is a human in the loop to ensure that the sanctity of the process is is maintained. So I think the focus on responsible AI is critical. We also use AI as part of our onboarding process. So as an example, as part of a standard onboarding package at our firm, there is a metaverse and an AI-enabled module that all employees goes through. That gives you the etiquette of operating in a virtual world responsibly, if you will, right? So I think the onboarding process has been designed for today's world or future world, as you will, right? So as you see that elements of AI and next-gen technologies being built into how you onboard the candidates, and then once the candidates are onboarded, we have tools, for example, co-pilots for an internal company, that assist you or enable you to do your job role. We also have invested in a platform like LearnVantage, for example, that provides right skills and the right training. We talked about skills-based kind of qualification. So we have platforms like LearnVantage that enables our employees, and we also offer it to our clients so that they can take advantage of these platforms to build their workforce of future. What's the ROI, I think is your point, on investment in talent of future? I will refer to today's rethink started with a focus on human and machine relationship. So this is not all about just AI and automation running our factories. The human capital is equally important in the future of manufacturing. So it's just interesting to know that today's session started with human-machine relationship. But coming back to your question, what's the ROI? As each of the manufacturing companies evaluate their future, even I would say two things. In short term, as I mentioned earlier, with responsible AI, is the human in the loop. So there will be human capital required in order to run that semi-automated or human in the loop AI environment. The job roles I talked about earlier, AR-enabled maintenance engineer, robotics production engineer, and so forth. So these talent skills will be required in order to run your operations, in order to drive the differentiation in the market. That talent pool and skills is not readily available right now. So that investment would provide you a differentiation for near future, or I would say a base skill or base capability that will be required to survive in near future. And then as you move to an automated world, right, or let's say fully automated world, this talent pool will be required in order to make sure that transition from semi-automated to an automated world is done in a responsible manner, right? So that the risks are mitigated and your future is designed not only to drive OpEx, but to drive that market differentiation and growth. But all of this is underpinned by this talent that would allow you to do that crawl, walk, and run transition from what I call human-centric right now to semi-automated, right, with human in the loop, to an automated with human supervised. But there's still a human component of it. And that human component is different in the future than today. So without that investment, I think there is an existential crisis for the manufacturers if they don't invest today. What are the risks and how do you mitigate them? As we discussed earlier, a deep focus on having responsible AI embedded as part of your, any process, from recruiting to onboarding to even, eventual, ongoing training and evolution is very, very important. I would say, as you define your processes from kind of recruitment, onboarding, and so on and so forth, having that human in the loop, step for verification based on where the technology is today is very, very important. So for example, as let's say resumes are scrubbed and interviews are scheduled, we wanted to make sure, in our case, we wanted to make sure there is a recruiter in the process, verifying and approving certain steps to make sure that, the sanctity of the process, as I mentioned earlier, is maintained. even in case of having a co-pilot for in order to enable job roles, we make sure that as the co-pilot is assisting, right, there are checks and balances on the reports being produced, and there is kind of almost a group of people or a responsible AI expert evaluating it, not only I would say on an ongoing basis, so that as data changes and the platform evolves, the responsible AI kind of, I would say, the validation of the system on a quarterly and yearly basis, that process is in place. So again, we don't see responsible AI as a one-time investment. It's built into the process and an ongoing commitment to maintain that sanctity of the process. So again, I would say responsible AI is heart at what we do, and that's what we encourage all of our clients as they go through the digital as they go through digital transformation and embrace AI to drive those or embrace those opportunities. I would say AI is here to stay and grow. I think there is an opportunity for us to understand it and embrace it and do it in a responsible way. The opportunities are endless. We just need to make sure we embrace in a responsible manner.